I'm going to start this video by saying, do not mind the way I look. This channel is come as you are, okay? There is no judgment over here. Okay, let's begin. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name's Genesis Nevaeh. First, I'm going to preference and say that this video is probably going to be like all over the place, just in like, I'm gonna try and stay on topic. As if my life is right now, I also feel like so many of you are going through this crazy retrograde that we're having right now. Like, if you literally look all over the internet right now, it's Mercury retrograde this, Mercury retrograde that, I'm going through it, lost my job, broke up with my boyfriend, girlfriend, someone died, like something is in the air. And I really just want to sit with you guys and just say that I hear you. I'm there. Everyone's there. This adulting stuff is not easy. It doesn't come with a handbook. Nobody holds our hand. But with that being said, I truly believe in, even when things are crumbling around you, the best way to look forward is to look within. Truly. I feel like with the world being so shitty, I feel like everyone is comfortable with being shitty people. And that's not everybody. There's certain topics in this video where I want to go over where I know I also struggle in. But I'm the type of person to hold up a mirror to my face and really look at the things projecting in my life. I'm not going to sit back and ignore shit or not take accountability or make other people's life harder for them by being me. Like, simply, I would never do that. Nobody teaches you how to adult properly. You reach 18 and suddenly people want you to learn how to manage your money, regulate your emotions, manage relationships, have a job, have 2 jobs, own a home, have a car. They want you to have it all figured out. And that is just not realistic. Not in today's age. It's just not easy. I'm 20. I'm 2 years out of high school, and I absolutely do not know what I want to do with my life. I have an idea. I'm starting it. I'm trying it, but it's not guaranteed. But all you can do is put your best self forward, correct? This shit don't come with a manual. But I feel like if we give ourselves the grace and really sit down with ourselves instead of worrying about all of the noise that's going on around us, following trends, trying to be this certain type of person. You see other people live their life on social media and you might see stuff and come across stuff that you like and might want to live that same way. None of that shit is realistic. And I think we compare ourselves so much because, you know, we want what we don't have. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but you can't dwell on that. Adulthood is learning about how to take responsibility for your life without becoming cold and isolated or overly dependent on other people. There has to be a balance. Let's talk about taking accountability versus being avoidant. On a beginning note, I think a lot of you are weird as fuck. I think a lot of you lack emotional integrity, emotional honesty. You have an ego that's bigger than this world, and you refuse to acknowledge how your existence may be hurting other people. I think that's kind of weird. I think if you walk around this earth and believe you are owed everything, you're weird. If you think you deserve other people's feelings, time, energy, you are out of your mind. It'd be the ones that be sucking it out of everyone that genuinely believe that they do no wrong, that their truth is the end all be all. And I think that's sad. I think there's a certain level of trauma, obviously dealt with it, you know. I feel like some people cope in that way, if that makes sense. Like, they have to put that ego on and they have to feel as if they're better and above everyone. And I can probably say that, like, honestly, that's a normal thing to do in certain situations where you just have to feel good about yourself. But if you are constantly thinking you're on this pedestal above other people, I need you to bring yourself back down into reality that this world, none of us are better than the other. Not one of us have it figured out. Not one of us have the answer. None of us are here to be the voice of everyone. We have to be our own voice. We have to have our own morals. We have to have our own sense of self. So with the core idea with accountability is not saying everything is your fault. I think that's where we have to start. I think when people hear accountability, they hear, oh, like, you're blaming me. All that is my fault. Like, they get so defensive when people come to them with their emotions and feelings. Not everyone knows how to deal with emotions and feelings, but I feel like as humans, we have to owe each other the grace. We all have them. We all feel them, whether you feel them intensely, whether you take years to feel yours, whether you suppress yours. We all have them. So the one thing we should be giving each other is that space to feel. So accountability is not saying everything is your fault, but it's recognizing the part that you've played, the choices that you are still in control in, and the steps you can take to do it differently next time. There are literal grown ass people, like I'm talking 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s up, who struggle with this, who cannot look internally and hold themselves to like a moral high ground, like a moral standard. Like they just have to be right in their own way. Also, sorry if the lighting is a bit of everywhere in this video. I'm trying, you guys, I'm trying. So with accountability, there's a difference between making an excuse and then explaining yourself. If someone has a problem with you and it is an ongoing problem that they have had, but you may not be aware of these feelings that are bottled up, rattling inside of them. And you're minding your business, but there's a situation that happens where, say, you broke their picture vase, right? You didn't think it was a big deal. Picture vase broke while you were cleaning. It fell, glass shattered. You cleaned it up, left it alone, but didn't tell your roommate, let's just say, right? The picture vase breaking might have been a mistake, but maybe that was not the first time something of their property has been mishandled by you or misplaced or misused. You might not think it's a big deal, but in that person's mind, they are building a RICO case against you, okay? Maybe you borrowed a shirt the first time, they never got it back. That's one thing, right? Second time, maybe they bought some bananas, they just bought some bananas for the house, make for their protein smoothies, oatmeal, whatever, just to randomly have. But you decided in your head that I'm going to use all these bananas to make banana bread and not buy any more. There's certain stuff that build up against people and then they have their final straw. So that picture frame breaking might be their final straw. And then they come to you so crazy. They're like, oh my God, like they give you this wild energy. It's very nasty. It's very pointed and you have no idea where it's coming from. And you hear that they are very visibly, deeply upset about this picture frame. Emotional intelligence is very learned behavior, in my opinion. It has to be taught. You are not given that unless you are born with sympathy. And not everyone is born with that. Not everyone has empathy, sympathy in their heart. They just don't. So taking that example, the right thing to do would be like, I am so sorry about breaking your picture frame. Is this just about the picture frame? Like that is totally 100% something I would say in a situation like that. You have to get to the nitty gritty. Instead of, walking on eggshells around each other, instead of, trying to play telephone back and forth on what the problem could be, let's get to the nitty gritty. Like, people know how to apologize for the reaction that they are getting, but they avoid addressing the behavior that caused it. And then, now they're blaming their childhood trauma or their ex from 5 years ago, or their mom and dad didn't love them, or they never got enough hugs as a kid. Like it's just always something rather than the situation of what we're talking about, of what we're dealing with, what's the general consensus on how we got here. Like, wow, it's mind-blowing to some people. Real accountability includes changed behavior, not just a sincere apology. That's the first step. That's definitely the first step. But what are we going to do moving forward for this to never happen again? How are we going to make this never happen again? And I feel like people aren't confrontational enough. Being confrontational is not a good thing. But there are moments where you must, and I feel like it is in moments where being confrontational won't escalate the situation sometimes. Like sometimes by not showing people you're not to be played with, you are going to continue to let things escalate until you pop off. Like that's the problem. You have to learn your own boundaries, your limits, and stop that shit right there. Stop it right then and there. It is okay to pull someone to the side who is bothering you, right? In a work environment, let's break this down. It is okay to pull someone to the side, whether that be that person you're having issues with or a manager, and be like, hey, I'm not feeling this person. I'm having issues with this person. I don't think me and this person are ever going to get along. I don't want to jeopardize jeopardize my job by what I might do if I continue to be in close proximity with this person. And then there are steps you can take for things to not escalate, correct? I feel like a lot of people will let things keep egging on them, keep building up until, they are the consequences to their own actions. And then there's other situations where you just gotta let people know, like, you're not to be played with. Like, don't play with me. I know there's people that can't do that. Like, just going that way, that level is just not for people. I understand that. And I feel like you should have someone in your life who can get like that for you, but that's a whole different conversation. If you're not going to do it for yourself, maybe someone will love you hard enough to do it for you. But again, a whole different conversation. But like I said, being confrontational is not always a good thing. In order to have peace, you must simply let things go. And that's a whole nother superpower. Genuinely, regulating your emotions is the ultimate superpower. I think that is also the key to adulthood, is not letting things get to you. If you can take things on the chest and be like, that doesn't affect me. That's the ultimate boss bitch move. Like, that's it right there. I struggle with that so much. Like, I think my number one thing I say is I don't care, but deep down I care very deeply. And because my default is to act like I don't care, things hurt me 10 times harder when I finally let it hit me. Does that make sense? Accountability. Owning your choices without hating yourself. Those two things can coexist for sure. A lot of you need to hear this. The uncomfortable truth is that a lot of you are the common denominator in repeated situations. If you think about anywhere in your life, just think, and you are in a situation that keeps happening over and over and over again, what is the underlying factor that is always there? 9 times out of 10, you're the problem. I just feel like that needs to be said. That is not even to be rude. That is not even to be mean. That is not to hurt feelings. That is not to be ignorant. That is literally like, sometimes you have to look within. Like, am I the problem? Like, this is adulthood, y'all. This is taking accountability. Am I the problem? And then, like I said, you can go back to those steps. Even if you are the problem and you're rage baiting someone and you are trying to make someone have the worst day ever simply because you don't like them. Let's just say that is the situation. Why? Why do that? Why? Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't put yourself in an uncomfortable situation to have more uncomfortable shit happen to you times 10. Just don't do that. Simply remove yourself in the best way possible. And if you can't do that, take those steps before you crash out. Genuinely, like, that's all I can say. I mean, easier said than done, am I right? Hold yourself accountable without making yourself a bad person. I feel like that is very easy. Like, sorry, my camera died, y'all, but you can take accountability without feeling like a bad person. Like, if you're the type of friend that it's like, oh my God, nobody wants to hang out with me, everyone leaves me, like, they plan stuff without me, but you're always canceling plans, not showing up to events, Irish goodbying, it is not jarring to understand why no one reaches out for you. No one comes to you. Put yourself in their shoes. Understand that you might be the problem. It doesn't have to be other people making you feel that way. It could be you. And now that is the result. So when did you realize you kept contributing to a problem you were blaming on somebody else? Have you ever took criticism as an attack? Why is someone telling you about yourself making you so defensive? Again, I'm not going to sit here and be like, I cannot relate to these problems, but again, I can put up that mirror and call myself the problem. Like, I am never been afraid to do that. But honestly, 9 times out of 10, it's never me. But you know what might be me? An avoidant. Let's get into this topic and let's make it quick, because I feel like this avoidant conversation can get very nasty with people who are the opposite and need their feelings coddled, handheld, rocked, fed, changed, tucked into bed, and kissed goodnight. Like, genuinely, there's something about a person trying to find solace in a person who avoids people, which doesn't dismiss the avoidants who try and find solace in people who need connection that they can't give them. That's also a problem. You get to that point where you're too scared to fully commit, and then you pull back, and now you've run away to fucking Nantucket and you've left this person feeling extra confused. That's wrong. That's not who I am, and that's not what I'm talking about, and that's also what we're getting into. So let me put my thoughts. Let me put my thoughts together. Avoidance can look calm, it can look nonchalant, it can look independent, it can look unbothered. But being avoidant means avoiding your fears, avoiding the conflict, avoiding the inevitable, and just avoiding life, even avoiding your own emotions, which is really probably the core of this conversation. I would like to say avoidant has become one of those chronically online terms like bird and all those other stupid fucking trends. And it shouldn't automatically give people that clinical attachment type style. We should focus on people's repeated behaviors rather than, they show you one act of themselves and you just can't fucking handle it. I feel like with being an avoidant type person, there's many traumas and past history that are involved with that, which I can't speak on for everybody else. But I feel like people who aren't avoidant, their main issue with avoidant people is how they deal with their emotions. I feel like off the bat you hear, oh, you're avoidant, oh, you just don't care, you don't feel, you don't handle your emotions, you just feel nothing.
And you're not gonna come to me with your problems. Why would you come to me with your problems? You don't fucking love me.
That's what people hear. They think again, they're owed that from that person. I don't understand that. Maybe that's me and I'm the problem. Maybe I'm the problem. I'm not talking about building a relationship with someone, building a foundation, trying to build a connection with someone and trying to get deep into themselves. I feel like if you are trying to do that, avoid these avoidant people at all times. That would be stupid to be trying to look for that in someone who can't physically give you what you need. Communication might not be an outlet for some people to let out their emotions. And if that is what you need in order to build a relationship, find that. Do not keep looking for that in someone who cannot give you that. If you are sitting down with them, pleading for them to open up, give you something, please walk away. Run away, actually. Run for the hills, genuinely. Because those type of people, you can't try and change, because that is a wound they must heal on their own. Communication is the number one foundation on how all of us humans can understand each other. It is literally the act of understanding. So if you are unable to say how you feel, if someone is asking you to give that to them, those are traumas you must heal. Those are things you need to work on. But I am not someone to ever force that upon someone. I understand that genuinely talking about how you feel, your emotions, your trauma, your past can be so vulnerable and just simply a hard thing to do. So people find other outlets. They write that shit down. They do breath work. They work out. They do yoga. They run. They draw. They cook. They do anything under the sun that they know how to do to regulate their emotions. And maybe communication might not be that number one factor for them, but they have other ways to let out those feelings, to get what they have off their chest. As humans, we owe each other the grace to feel our feelings, and we owe each other the grace to communicate. But we do not owe each other everything. We do not owe each other all of ourselves. I feel like, I don't know how to explain this. There's a certain level of spirituality that you have to find within yourself to be comfortable with finding, I can't describe it as love. I can't say it's easy as simply loving yourself. I feel like so many people love themselves, but it's having the grace with yourself, even sitting down and opening up your own heart to how to be by ourselves. I feel like that is what I'm trying to say. The act of being with oneself has lost. It's been lost. It is gone. No one knows how to love by themselves. They feel like they must share it instead of pouring it all into themselves. They must give it out. And that's where your energy is sucked from you. That's where not everyone is owed all of you. And then you feel like, you gave all of yourself to someone else and you feel like you deserve it back. No. 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 We're not gonna meet Jimmy and give Jimmy all of ourselves. We're not gonna meet Jimmy and tell Jimmy every single freaking bad and good and disgusting and wonderful hardship about ourselves because we want the same thing from Jimmy. Like, that is not how most people operate. A lot of people are very slow, stagnant, layer building type people, and a lot of people wear their heart on their sleeves. That's just the world. So again, we have to find it in ourselves to give each other grace with feeling, communicating, and just simply being. Like, there's people who feel everything, there's people who feel nothing, and there's people who want to do all of that alone, and that is okay. That is okay. Like, I just don't know why we make it a mission to make other people feel bad about how they regulate, how they deal, how they make the world go round for themselves, you know? And people take it so personally, and I understand that. Like, y'all be, you know, let's just say relationships, for example, like, y'all be in relationships for years, giving your all, doing your all for these people, for example, and you feel as though when you're chasing an emotionally unavailable person, it can manifest itself as its own, like, avoidance of self-respect. A lot of you guys lack that for yourselves. Like, you guys will continue to push and push and push and push and push and push, and then when it's not received, make that other person seem like the worst person in the world for not giving you what you think you deserve. Like, I find that fucking crazy. Like, actually, I think that's so crazy. People treat you accordingly, and if you are looking for love, if you are looking for solace, if you are looking for someone to help you, uplift you, grow you, and you're not getting that, simply walk away. Simply stop trying to find it in that person. Simply stop pouring yourself into that person. Simply walk away. And that brings me to my next topic of relying on other people. I feel like avoidance can look like two things, and two things can be true at once when talking about avoidance. And I feel like we shouldn't avoid anything. As I said before, being confrontational is like a skill I feel like people should have, but it's not always needed. But is protecting your peace healthy when it prevents a difficult conversation? Is you oversharing creating an artificial intimacy that you may need, and when you don't receive it, you get like this withdrawal crash of like fucking craziness, and you feel like, oh my god, I just been through that, and I did all that for what? For nothing. Like, I can see 100% why people feel that way, get that way. And honestly, like I said, everyone has a right to feel how they feel, but again, look inside yourself with that one, for real. Like, it's not always a reason. Nine times out of 10 there is a reason, I feel like, but there's not always a reason. I feel like that 1% is like just that 1% just be crashing. Like, you know, like sometimes people just are, you know. I'm gonna hurry up and wrap this up because sun is setting and videos already all over the place, you know, lightings everywhere, whatever. Relying on others. A lot of you people are codependent. Let's start there. Codependency. Adults need community. Let's also start there. Adults need community. We do. In order to survive, we need each other. But the goal is to not need anybody. The goal is to receive support without making it another's responsibility for your identity, for your money, your emotional regulation, for... Okay, if you can find it in your heart to ignore what I look like, please. Like, I'm just trying to finish this video. Like I said, it's all over the place. I just got back from the gym because the last clip, my mic died, and then I was like, you know what, let me just do something with my life. And then I came back and I was like, no, I really want to finish the video. Like, I felt like I was cooking at some point. I don't know. I really thought I was like in the zone. So let me pull up back my notes and let's get back. And I'm trying to finish this video before the light dies because literally I just got back from a trip and none of my batteries, my camera, nothing was charged, honestly. So yeah. So where was I on the avoidant? Because I thought I was still on the avoidant personalities. I talked about the intimacy, like craving that intimacy, and then when you don't get it, like you're on that really high and then you start crashing. Is protecting your peace healthy when it prevents difficult conversations? I talked about that as well. As for the avoidant, I think within that conversation we need to learn to give each other grace. I think we need to have that anyway anyway as humans regardless. But I feel like when you say you're an avoidant person, people think that you are literally the devil. I wouldn't describe myself as an avoidant person, but I'm defending that side harder because of the aspect where people feel like they're owed everything. I genuinely don't like that, and I genuinely feel like where people feel like they are owed an emotion, they are owed it depends on the situation. Genuinely, like if you're in a relationship committed for 5 years, yes, like that is your time. You are entitled to that. You are owed every single ounce of compensation for that time in the relationship. But if you're trying and trying and trying in a situation type shit, or like just in general, like it can be completely platonic. Like if you're trying and trying and trying again and you're receiving nothing, bro, and you're trying to pull from this person who clearly doesn't want to give you anything, it's in your best interest to literally put yourself first and step away, step back. I don't know why you guys feel like you can give all of yourself, exude your energy, your aura, and think it's going to make somebody else better. Like, you guys have to really sit back with your ego sometimes. Like, you guys really have to look within and understand that, one, not everybody wants help. Two, not everyone communicates, operates, and mediates on the same level. Like, they just don't. Give people grace, give people patience, give people the capacity to move within that. I don't know. I feel like if you are dealing with an avoidant type personality and you're really taking a liking to them for whatever reason, have conversations as much as you can. Allow them to go into that hermit mode. If you can sustain that and be comfortable in that, and you're willing to take the steps to open this person up, help them get out of that spell, all to you. But please don't treat those people as if they're like really, really bad people, because I just leave those people alone. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just know those people don't want to be bothered. It's different when they're bothering you and then they do all that. It's different. That's different. But like, leave those people alone, because 9 times out of 10, they don't even want to mess with you. They don't even want to be bothered. They don't even want to do all that. So like, save yourself some time. I just feel like I said, a lot of you guys lack that emotional intelligence, that emotional depth, because I don't know if it's ignorance is bliss. I don't know if it's genuine, like you've never been put in a position to withhold another person's emotions and what it actually means to see a situation outside of yourself. Like, I don't know if a lot of you have ever been put into that situation, because in order to receive confrontation, you have to be put in that situation. I can't really fault a lot of people for not knowing how to do those said things. But like I said, all that is learned. You should learn that as a child. Like, there's many trials and tribulations that you go through in your adolescence and growing up, where these are key life lessons that we should be knocking by the time we're like damn near graduating high school. We should have emotional regulation and control our emotions without making it seem like an emotional emergency to everybody. Communicating and saying what you mean before you build up all this pent up resentment. Establishing boundaries within yourself, not controlling other people. Making like decisions based on your participation and not how you want the outcome to go. You can only do so much of with what you can control. None of y'all have discernment. Like I said, a lot of the things I'm talking about in this video, you can only reach that state if you go through a spiritual awakening. It's a certain spiritual aspect to it. I can't explain it. If you get it, you get it. If you know, you know. You have to be willing. You have to be willing to do the work. You have to see outside all of this, the glitz, the glam, the cameras, the fake reality, the simulation that we're in. I'm not trying to get too deep, but it's deep. It is that deep. Trusting yourself, making decisions, and being okay if the outcome doesn't go your way. You're not a failure. And with that, tolerating being alone. I can't say get used to isolation, but if you find anything but pure loneliness in your solitude, if you learn how to be at your happiest by yourself, that is enough to stop completely choosing people in order to leave or in order to avoid loneliness completely. I feel like, back to like the avoiding conversation, I feel like a lot of people do get hurt by those types of people because they rather chase and fight for something that's never going to work than just be okay with being alone, with being comfortable in the choice that, hey, I'm choosing myself. And if that's not you, and if I have to be by myself in order to feel not less than, in order to feel like I'm not fighting looking for a position in your life, I will do that. And y'all should try that too. Sometimes closure is going to have to be the decision you make and not the explanation that somebody gives you. There's not always going to be an answer. There's not always going to be a reason. Like I said, some people they just are. You can't change them. They come like that. They were built like that. And a lot of influences and experiences in their life will make them worse. And in order to receive closure, you have to make that decision to walk away, to do whatever you can do to get that off your heart, get that off your chest, get that off your mind, get that off your soul, anything. Then wait for them, please. Knowing yourself is 100% the key. Knowing yourself alleviates the position for people to think that they understand you, even when they really don't or want to, because being understood is not always guaranteed. And as much as you explain yourself perfectly, people just choose not to care. And another hurtful truth will be like, a lot of people, when you give and give and give and give so much of yourself, like you're giving someone who will not treat you good access to your love, and they love you, but they don't have the capacity to treat you well. Like that is literally like a slap in the face. Like I understand why people go bonkers fucking crazy over some shit. Like I truly understand that. But again, that's when you have to step outside of yourself and choose yourself. Put yourself first. Avoid those people. Stop wanting connection from those people. It's okay to be alone. Alone does not mean lonely unless you make it that way. Every day is a new day. How you handled something yesterday does not have to be how you handle it today. And always try and be better than that last version of yourself. Even if that last version of yourself helped you pick up the pieces, help you come from bottom of the barrel, this new version of yourself is going to be even better than that. You're going to outgrow a version of yourself that once helped you like survive. So back to the consensus of this video. Welcome to adulthood, bitches. Like it is a whirlwind of confusion and drama and trauma and happy moments and sad and fear, but it's inevitable. We're in it together. As far as this generation and where we go from here, that's only up to us, you know? I think navigating adulthood is being honest enough about your own patterns and being strong enough to change them, you know? Open enough to let that healthy community around you support you. Like, we don't know everything, you guys, and that's okay. But we each have to participate in our own life as much as we want to avoid or not care or give up or just let go and let God. Like, the only way up is you. The only way up is you. Nobody is holding your hand. Nobody. As much help as you think you may have, it's all about your drive, your integrity, your motivation to be better, see better for yourself, want better for yourself, see the best in yourself. And that's really hard to do sometimes. And I take mental health very seriously. Okay, I'm gonna wrap this up. Some questions for you guys. Like, if you want to answer in the comments, like, what has dating been like for you in this day and age? How do you deal with avoidant people? And are there differences between boundaries and avoidance? Yes. And yeah, that's basically all I have to say. Again, sorry this video is kind of everywhere, but again, I'm Genesis Nevaeh. Thank you for chatting with me. If you guys like these videos, let me know down below, because I can surely give you a whole bunch of what's in my head. I'm just a bunch of fucking word vomit. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Thanks for watching, you guys. Bye-bye.
The power within. The power within. The power within. The power within! Yeah!